Let's go.
Don't
What's
mind me.
going on there?
I have a little cheese, little calcium before we get this thing started, man.
Cheese.
Little cheese, man.
Oh man, how could you do that to the pack like that, man?
Man, my wife gonna kill me.
That's their only source of economic prowess, man.
My wife gonna kill me. This supposed to be for our tacos, but I'll get another pack.
Yeah, you taking the last bit of cheese out there, man. I guess you're supporting their economy, even though you're trying to kick them out the playoffs.
Hey man, they privately owned, and all them private owners, man, they need a little well wishes. This holiday season, all I could do is support, get some crap.
Hey, look,
I'm put it work.
Hey, look, it sound like Ben Johnson called. He said, hey, look, I'm trying to own y'all right now. Give me a little bit of that ownership.
Hey man, we had 2 weeks ago, we left it 11 yards short.
Yeah.
And revenge is a dish best served cold, man. I felt like
like 10 degrees outside cold.
10 degrees, and all the right players were there. Keyshawn, Nixon, from hero to GOAT, Matt LaFleur, smug face, seeing him doubled over in pain.
He doesn't hide his emotions very well at all. I've
been watching. I got this new thing, and I gotta shout out Jay Watt, man. He put me on this. He's a big Michigan fan.
Yeah,
he would always watch the losing teams reaction videos.
Yeah,
and so I've been watching reaction videos.
It's great
all Sunday, watching them.
Great.
Yeah, watching the meltdown from the fourth quarter.
Oh yeah,
5-minute mark all the way down. We'll get into it, man. But yeah, go ahead. I cut you off. I'm excited.
It's wonderful. Welcome everyone to H+M Sports Academy. My name is Mo. This is Harry. We are here today. Happy holidays. We are festive with our border.
Yes.
We are here to talk a little sports, a little bit of levity before you all get sucked into your parents and your family's household and you're stuck in there. Just be cognizant that there will be some NFL, there will be some NBA, so you can get that as an outlet, even if the turkey is overcooked. And you stuck sitting there pretending like you like your food and you don't like the food, man. But to watch a little football, man, and take a load off. We're here today to talk some recap of some games, some festive, some not so festive, a little ball humbug.
Yeah, I do feel a little bit, my bad, man. I don't want to celebrate too hard. I know,
it's all right.
It's like dancing at a funeral or something, but
yeah,
you guys had a tough weekend, so we'll touch on your Cowboys and what we got to do to get them right as well.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, as Bill Parcells says, you are what your record says you are. We're under 500 team, and we fooled a couple of people and won a couple of games. But when they talked about this stretch about how difficult it was, I think everyone saw the Eagles and they saw the Kansas City Chiefs and saw that. But when you look at this stretch, the Minnesota Vikings, the way they play, and then the Chargers, and then the Detroit Lions on the road, that really is a murderous road when it comes down to. It's a tough stretch, man. And then the difference between Dallas and Chicago, the Chicago Bears banked their wins early in the season, made sure they stacked those wins up so they could absorb a loss on the road to the Packers and come right back and get on track. Whereas the Cowboys have no margin for error and were looking to basically beat teams who are also desperate, and it just wasn't there. They didn't have the horses, and to the victor go to spoil. So today we're going to talk about both games. Yeah. We're going to start off in an upbeat mood and really break down the Bears and the Packers, because that was a classic, man. What a game. We're not talking about Cairo Santo no more. We're not talking about DJ Moore anymore, DJ Les. All them guys, man, they all showed their ass this time. So props to them. And you guys are certainly on a heck of a streak, on a heater, man. Going forward. So let's see. That game went into overtime, and the final score was what?
22-16 Bears. Game goes into in the overtime. I went back and I was at a birthday party this weekend. I had a few events I had to go to, so it was for me just because I'm not in my normal setting. So I felt like I was letting the damn team down because I'm out here partying and we in a dog fight. So I'm dancing with my wife and I got my phone in the other hand. So it's
a tough situation, boy. That is a tough situation, man. We all been in that situation. It is tough. This is why the running joke is, don't be scheduling weddings during football season, and don't be, you know what I'm saying, and during certain games and stuff. Don't do it.
Don't do it, man. So it was actually at a casino. So the beautiful part is I caught the fourth quarter in the casino with the big screens, and I was shocked. There was a ton of Bears fans in there.
They're coming out the woodworks, man.
Coming out the woodwork. So the energy jumped up. So it turned out to be the best thing that could have happened that night, because I got to celebrate it with. It was just and to show you how sports bring you together. It's just random guys and random, ladies out here trying to enjoy that night, enjoy the team.
Yeah.
And ended up creating, and sharing in that moment. So, and I say it's a moment because it was the city of Chicago. We had been waiting for that.
Well, it finally felt like you were on a level playing field with them.
Situations where the energy was so high, man. It was a primetime game. It was the division on the line. It was conference, 1-2 seeding on the line, and it was so much energy in that stadium. And when Ben Johnson took the job, he said, I felt like this city is a sleeping giant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said the city of Chicago and the fans of Chicago deserve a winner.
Yeah.
And this is a situation where it wasn't so much what I call like you said, we still had some room. It wasn't like this was a do or die situation.
Yeah.
But it felt like the proverbial getting over the hump and getting that, that monkey off your back.
Yeah.
And I really, really, was proud because we got such a young team, man. And I've been defending it. I've been defending Caleb with all my heart. I was in the barbershop today and people were talking about, Caleb and just his personality and his eccentric style and things he likes to do. And we said it here, he's different. But what they don't realize is how competitive. He's a dog. He's so competitive. Man. And after the loss 2 weeks ago, he was so resolute and so confident and saying, hey, I would love to get back in that situation. Yeah. It's almost like when you are really great at your job and you lost because of something that you did that you could easily correct.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of you getting that moment back. Yeah. And even though that game didn't go the way we wanted it to go, obviously the first 3 quarters were a train wreck. We'll get into that here in a little bit. But from my perspective, when I look at this team holistically over the course of this season, we have, I'd say, a top 3 head coach. We have a top 2 play caller, and we probably had a clutchest quarterback in the league. So if you want to debate it, go debate your mother, go debate your friends, go debate in the barbershop. The whole narrative around the Bears are lucky. And I've been thinking about that. And I was driving and I said, you know what?
Is that out there? Are people saying that?
Tons of people are saying how lucky we are. Tons of people are saying how all of these gifts are being handed to us. And I said, you don't create over 30 turnovers with luck. And sometimes, and we talked about it, your preparation and being ready for these moments. And that's one thing Ben Johnson does well. And we talked about the elite coaching staff. We talked about just how great we are in situational football. Mm-hmm. And I started to listen to the luck. And then I went back and I watched the last 5 minutes. And I said, you know how lucky you got to be to have 8 things go right and you to execute 8 things correctly. You know what I'm saying? And we're doing it with injuries. Ja'Day Walker, having him ready to play. You know what I'm saying? Having your linebackers who are fresh off injuries, get back into a rhythm and get back on the field. We end up losing C.J. Gardner-Johnson and had to plug in McLeod. Yeah. So, I know Green Bay came in and they talked about the loss of Michael, which was huge. They had the loss of Love, right, at QB, which was huge. But at the end of the day, everybody deals with injuries. We all look. You ain't crying. For me, you dealt with injuries, and I ain't crying for them, and they definitely not crying for us. So to me, all bets are off on that regard. So what did you think? I was, like I said, I didn't get to hear all the analysis going on. I went back and heard Brady and the other, the play-by-play card. And I thought they did an amazing job calling the game with the energy.
They really did.
And really touching on some things that was important.
No, they were. Like the thing that Brady was really good at this game was, painting the picture of, this was kind of a low-scoring game. Yeah. Obviously, the final score 22-16, and that was with overtime, right? You know what I'm saying? And that was with y'all closing the gap in the fourth quarter. That was really a low-scoring game in the team,
really
right?
Was.
But Brady did a great job of capturing, NFC North, division game, 100 and some years of history, two teams that don't like each other, hard hitting, plastic popping out there, you know what I mean? And so he painted that picture, and I'll give him credit, from a quarterback, who ain't out there knocking helmets and stuff like that, who, is responsible for rules that are put in place to not hit people. He did a great job of painting what that was like out there, and he leaned into it pretty hard on that, and that made that the theater of that game even better.
Right.
With that said, I will say on this, Green Bay showed the F up. They showed up.
Yes.
Like they had control of the game. They played well. The Michael Parsons thing aside, who knows what a difference he would have made. But everybody's got injuries, and I don't think that game was based on Caleb Williams just had all day to throw and stuff. So really, Michael Parsons was the difference. Not really. No, not really. You know what I'm saying? That game was a very, very tough defensive game. Tough sledding, tough to get your traction, and I thought that when Love went out and Willis came in, he gave y'all fits, man. He gave the Bears defense fits. You weren't. Yeah. If you don't game plan for a quarterback like that, and he's very strong in what he does, and that's the thing. He leans in very hard on the RPO, being mobile and stuff, and turning up and running. He's got a little bit of Caleb in him, actually, as far as how quickly he turns up the field and gets going. Yeah. And so I wasn't looking at the game thinking, oh man, the Packers, man, they fighting uphill. Bullshit. They had a chance. They had that game won.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that.
Man. There's no excuses.
None. And even though I couldn't hear it, I could feel it because that game had juice from the opening kickoff. And we had I want to say over 100 yards in penalties. We had 4 15-yard penalties. Some earned. I thought some was just through playing hard. Yeah. And I'm okay with that, Yeah. And the edge was there. We don't like them. They don't like us. And we understand, what was at stake. So we talked about these next, 4-game stretch being a playoff atmosphere for both our teams, right? Kind of going down this last month of December. Yeah. And that's what you get in the NFL. We talked about, the beauty of the NFL is you end up getting these regular season games that turn into quasi playoff games because they determine seeding, and they also determine, you can get rid of some of your nemesis too, Yeah. And that's super important. And the level of intensity in that game and the hitting, and I'll say this, all due respect, I never wish for injuries on anybody, but Booker, number 94, that's the way you get after the quarterback, right? Yeah. You got to get home. It wasn't a dirty or malicious hit. I think it was one where, and you and I both played the game where when a guy changes his pad level or his helmet level, it looks malicious, but it wasn't done in malice. No. It was just done through hard football, and he hit Love and ended up, concussing Love, and I didn't rejoice in it, but I think, to your point, Malik Willis came in and he actually played a little bit better.
I kind of feel like y'all wouldn't have had to fight as much to get back in the game if Love was playing. I don't think Love was playing that great, to be honest.
No, he was
not.
What
I'm saying? I really don't. And so honestly, Willis helped them pull away a little bit and get a lead. When it comes down to it, there was nothing dirty about that hit. That is, I'm a defensive lineman. I'm 290 pounds, 280 pounds, whatever he is. And I'm bearing down and I'm face up. When I put my helmet up against yours, it hurts. It's cold and it hurts. It just is what it is. And I'm hitting the ground and it hurts. And he got knocked out, but it was a clean hit. It was a clean hit. He didn't duck his head. It was face mask. His face mask hit basically Jordan Love's face mask.
And yes, and on the flip side, you saw DJ Moore, who ran a route, just standing over in the middle of the field, and Keyshawn Nixon came over and hit him directly in his back, and it set the tone, And I think the reality is, when you got two competitive teams fighting for one for the NFC North, two to potentially put your nemesis out of the playoffs, and three, the number one seed is still up for grabs. The number two seed is still up for grabs, which is important for, seeding in the playoffs. Yeah. And you toss in the fact they hate us, we hate them. That's right. I thought it was amazing cinema. It was amazing cinema.
And not necessarily in that damn order, because the reality is this.
Right.
The reality is this. Your coach put it out there and said he looks forward to sweeping the Packers. And we all know the history with Aaron Rodgers. The Packers have been getting after the Bears for years, and keeping them back and putting them in check for years. And so you lose the first game, you can't lose the second one. Talking about sweeping and end up getting swept. So it's as simple as that. Forget playoffs and seeding. you take all that shit, flush it. This game was two teams that don't like each other, and the bottom line is, if you got to go through that division, you got to go through these teams, and both teams are trying to establish that. So it was great theater on what was that, a Friday night?
That was a Saturday night game.
Saturday night game. Saturday night game.
And you couldn't have said it better, Ben Johnson. And this is why I want to give Ben his flowers from day one. This is when things change. This day right here, when you see Ben. And we might have been telling a lie the last couple of months, man. And he got his pen in his left hand, so he got a little creative in him too, man. Right. Look creative with Caleb, look creative with Ben. Yep. But he came in first day and set the tone and said, we are going to have to raise our standard. We're going to change our expectations. We're going to have to practice with championship habits. You talked about us being able to build a cushion over, the season. Hey, we don't lose 2 games in a row. We do not. There are certain things and certain mini goals, and that's one of the things when we talk about with having a system in place and having culture, created. There are certain things that you normally say, hey, this is how we do things here. And Ben put his neck on the line. He didn't even have a beef with Matt LaFleur. He just said, I like beating that guy twice a year. And, fast forward to, 2 weeks ago, and he has to trot to the middle of the field and shake his hand and look him in the eye and, tip his hat to a guy that got him. Yep. And, Ben is so competitive. He keeps the team so even keeled. The preparation is there. And at the end of the day, I'm just so excited that we finally got a head coach who gets it. One, he gets the rivalry. 2, he gets the importance of what I call playing high-level football throughout the year. So you're not having he made the statement, he forecasted and said, we're going to be playing our best football in December, right? So he understands how to build and grow to get to where we are. And this is his 3rd year in a row going to the playoffs. Had a lot of, like you say, injuries. And one of the big things that I want to commend him on is he had the mental, and I would say he was more egoless, and he put an amazing staff together. If any coach, because all coaches are hired to be fired. The staff that he put around himself, he's probably got 2 or 3 candidates who could take over for him at head coach, right? And he got a little bit diverse. He went over and stole Sean Payton's top offensive mind to make him an offensive coordinator. He goes and grabs your guy, Al Harris, to boost the defense. And then he goes and gets some crusty guys, Eric Bieniemy and Mike Roche on our offensive line. And I think, this is one of the reasons why we're so successful. We have such an amazing staff, man. When you look at every position, we're getting every ounce of juice out of this roster. We're squeezing this roster and we're finding, life, and we're finding, plays out of guys who are 3rd and 4th on the depth chart. And it's not normal. And I think, so I wanted to give Ben his flowers before I jump on him a little bit when I talk about the game. But I thought he was amazing. He's done an amazing job in understanding that, the city of Chicago, what we've been feeling, and what you said, which was this was a loss that normally happens to us. We'll have a game 1 and have a team there to right. We'll have the Packers there to rights, and they would always find a way to come out on top. And he's flipped that narrative. He's flipped that script. And I think, from my perspective, at least I say this, when we look at the future, and we can't guarantee, and you and I talk about it all the time, next year we might not be as successful. We might not have as many wins, but I do think he's established a standard, a culture, and belief from our fan base to the team to the staff to move us into the next, what I call five years of this program, to open up our window to chase a championship. I'll stick my neck out and say that.
Man, y'all play the NFC South next year. You may as well go ahead and chalk about 6-7 wins, man. You starting out 5-0.
Hey, and we got the AFC North, man. So
y'all got the AFC.
I'm sorry, the AFC East. My bad. We got the Jets
East,
and
you got the AFC East. So yeah, I mean, you got the lowly Jets, the Miami Dolphins. Oh my God, man. You say you got 7 wins before you even come off the bus.
Hey, man, it's a tough life. Somebody got to do it. Somebody got to do it. So, but yeah, I this is probably the best I've seen our special teams, defense and offense look collectively in the sense of timely plays, right? Yeah. And one of the big things, I wanted to get your thoughts on it because I feel a way about it. But how did you feel about our defense? I know some people look at us and say we're lucky and opportunistic. How did you feel about how we did on defense?
Yeah, I mean, you were flying around. You kept Jacobs pretty much in check. Yeah. Jordan Love struggled. I didn't think he looked great. I mean, I saw Dobbs had a couple of plays. He made a couple of plays, but he also turned the ball over, right? So Dobbs
Dobbs muffed the onside kick. Yeah,
he muffed the onside kick. And so the special teams was there in that aspect, but I really thought that the defense fought hard. I really think that the defense struggled the most is when Jordan Love went out. I mean, Willis is so much quicker and so much more decisive when he turns upfield. Your defense seemed a little bit behind or slow when it came to that. And so I think that was a struggle there. But man, it's just the ability to flip the field with these turnovers, man. And once again, I can't even say his name anymore, bro. I can't even talk about Nashawn Wright. I gotta talk to his agent just to use his name.
Nashawn, man. So yes, 5 trips to the red zone, 0 for 5, right?
Yep.
And huge.
Yep.
Gave up field goals instead of touchdowns.
Yep.
Last game we gave up those big plays, and I think the ideology from Dennis Allen was to eliminate those big plays and make them earn it.
Yep.
Packers always gonna move the ball, and it was gusty. It was 24-mile-an-hour winds.
Yep.
And we
that also cut out a lot of the big plays. Just couldn't do it.
A lot of big plays. Yeah. So ended up taking the ball away and being very, very stingy in that red zone, which was critical. And Nashon Wright stripped the ball from Jacobs when they were on like the 3, right?
Yep.
They were about to go in. So,
that's right. That would have probably been the one drive that you gave up the touchdown on, and that would have definitely. I don't know if y'all win that game without that. Honestly, the extra 4 points, how much time was left in the game? I don't know if there's enough time for you to come back and do what you did. Given that. I mean, because you took a possible 7 points and gave up 0.
Correct.
I mean, that's critical right there. Like I just that game was so close, and you had to get had to come down the stretch to get the overtime. But man, it's just the opportunistic football that you have, and when you talk about that, it's not luck, because what it takes more people rallying to the football. You can't create turnovers if there's only one person fighting off a block, just grasping for a tackle to try to get someone down. He ain't gonna be able to strip no ball. He has to get the guy down before he runs over him.
Right.
When you get strips, it's because the team is rallying to the football and everyone's got their eyes on the ball, and you're able to take those chances. And you've been doing it all year. So at some point, it is what it is. I think Al Harris is also part of it. Al Harris is like, there's nothing that's more vital than a turnover. So even if you give up some stuff, they gave up the big plays last game against Green Bay, but they didn't this time and kept them in check. And that was really the difference. That's why they struggle, because you think about it, Green Bay is not a team that methodically moves the ball down the field and just chops you up unless Jacobs is going. If Jacobs is going, great. But if he's not going, there's no way they could have manufactured a bunch of touchdowns, because that's not what he does.
And yes, two big stats I want to throw at you. The Chicago Bears and the Denver Broncos, teams that have faced them, normally they had like a 2-10 record coming off of before last week, meaning you play those two teams, you get beat up pretty good, right? So the Packers were coming back from a trip from Mile High. Jacobs' knee was beat up pretty good. I know they had lost Tom. I want to say they had a few other injuries. Obviously, the mic is the biggest one,
of course.
So I was shocked at their energy on defense. But I also wasn't shocked because we were down Rome Odunze and we were down Luther Burden III, right?
Yep.
People say that doesn't make a difference. A lot of the injury communication that came out and a lot of the injury discussions that were had was just about the impact of losing Michael Parsons, when nobody really leaned into the impact of losing, 2 vital receivers on the Bears offense. So I think that's why we sputtered, and I think that's why we were a little bit slow. But it goes back to, this is what I really wanted to pick your brain about. We are moving the ball like crazy the first time we touch it. So we stopped them. They go forward on 4th down, and they're inside the 10-yard line, and they turn the ball like over to us. We take it and we go 90 yards right down the damn throat, and we get to 4th and 1. And Ben Johnson, I love you to death, but this is a growing moment for him, and he's been doing it since Detroit. There's certain moments where you don't need to get cute. And we run Komet under center. And we put Kyle Monunga, who I love, out of Rutgers, our rookie running back. He's all of 5'7", with 7 and 8 inch cleats on. And the snap fires over his head. And we don't even get an attempt up. And that threw off the energy and the momentum of our offense right from the jump. I think if we just get under center and line it up in I just call it any play really, and run it right at them and say, you know what, this is what we're going to do to you tonight. I think offensively we get a much different result. That ball flies over Monunga's head. The Packers look up. They screaming and yelling off the field. The stadium doesn't go quiet, but it also, how it impacts you, where you're like, here we go again, right? And the woe is me kicked in. And from that moment on, I don't think we really recovered, unfortunately, until the 4th quarter, because they also mucked up the game by holding the football, right? With Willis, he was efficient. And with all that damn wind, all we could muster up were these difficult field goals, right? And shout out to Cairo Santos. He played the wind, the Brazilian boot. I've been on you
Shout
about
out.
your shout out.
He was on his game. He was locked in.
Locked in, man. He hitting that thing 2-3 feet outside the goalpost and playing the draw.
Yep.
From 51 yards. He hit another big kick where it was almost like a draw fade or some kind of crazy angle, and he kept us alive. And then that onside kick, I know people talk about luck. You couldn't have kicked a better ball. That ball had bounced twice, and then that third popped up right on Jacobs. And, it gave us an opportunity to extend the game. But I do think offensively, I'm going back to Ben. This is, I say this is his third year, right? Straight making the playoffs. And the reason why these 4 games are so important, because it kind of gives him a bar on what this team needs, right? And how he should handle the game. And he's masterful at managing the clock, managing timeouts, and managing situations. I think he struggled this year a little bit in the 4th down and the 2-point conversions, where he wants to trick you as opposed to just line up and execute against you. And I think some of that might be him looking at the roster saying, not having full trust.
Yeah.
But I think we'll see a different Ben in the playoffs, because he owned it. At halftime, they asked him about it, and he said, "That's my fault. I should never call that play." In that moment, you die on the hill of us running it at him or throwing it at him with our best player, Caleb, having the ball in his hands. But that cute snapping, between your legs and another player, it's the equivalent of you doing a 360 dunk on a breakaway in the beginning of the game, and you don't need all that, bro. You just need to put the damn points on the board or kick the ball like we talk about and get some damn points. To get us going. So Ben can't be a hindrance in that way, and I think that was a huge moment for him where he learned, hey, I gotta reassess how I'm handling these moments, because I can hurt my team. In Detroit, that was the MO, right? That came out of that game. I thought it was unfair. The last 2 years, the going forward on 4th down. We'll talk about Dan Campbell and the Lions here a little bit, but at the end of the day, the offense, I think, came alive in that 4th quarter out of necessity and out of pure competitiveness versus us just being able to execute like we wanted to against Green Bay.
Yeah, well said. Those times like that when you have to make those decisions, we know coaching is tough and it's revisionist history. If you go for it, you get it. You don't, and you talk about it. But I think you go, doing your best stuff, going with your best guys, going with the percentages. Unfortunately, he's like, well, the defense knows that too, so they're going to gear up for that. Right. So, I'm good with giving a run pass option. I'm good with maybe a little movement up front to get the ball in the running back's hand. But, doing the things that he did under those circumstances. And it's like, oh, last time they scored a lot of points with big plays, so we need points. So we got to do it. Not the same. Different game, different temperature, wind. They got different situation there. This game is not going to be like that, high scoring like that.
No.
You need any point is at a premium, and he has to assess that from game to game. We're splitting hairs because the guy is calling a heck of a game from week in and week out.
Right.
And, he certainly has the pulse of everything. So we're splitting hairs, and the other team gets a paycheck too. But in this situation, it was an unforced error. Like, this was not Green Bay doing anything great. They just lined up and saw the ball fly over his head.
Yeah, it gave me flashbacks because it happened to my son because they were playing in the game and they ended up losing their starting quarterback. So they're running Wildcat, and he goes back there and for a 2-point conversion. Same exact thing happens, and I think it's you get used to snapping to a certain, Caleb 6'1". Yeah, Kyle Manunga 5'6", 5'7". Yeah, and it doesn't seem like much, but you also got a guy who you got a guy standing in between your legs too, right? Yeah, it wasn't a normal setup. So I think when you and in those pressure situations, I don't love it because you've added. It's almost like we playing putt. Now I got to putt through the damn, the mill house and around the hippopotamus and to the back part of the flag. Right. Nah, we don't need all that. So.
The other thing is just like you just said, man, with the difference in size. I mean, who taller, Kyle or Junior?
They might be the same.
They might be.
Junior touching 5'4" now. So.
That's what I'm saying, man. He had to grow. He hit his growth spurt. He out there towering over Kyle. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. We about dealing with the same situation here, man.
Oh man, I love Kyle, my guy.
That was a bad deal. But look, man, you know we're splitting hairs on this. You know, looking at you know your offense. Like Caleb had the same struggles with that, you know, with the win and not having his guys out there. You know, there wasn't a whole bunch of running lanes. I think Swift ran hard though, man. I thought Swift was fighting up in there.
Yeah, man, he's fighting a groin and he ran very hard.
He had juice, man. He was trying out there. Yeah. Whatever he had, he was giving it all out there. So I couldn't complain about that. And you know, it just was a tough game to get your sledding and get your footing. The way the defenses were going at it, and then the elements and stuff, and then having you being short on, you know, receivers. Yeah. You know, and I'm sure, even you know, LaFleur and on the defense over their side, they were like, yeah, man, they had their way running the ball. We're not doing that.
And it ended up biting them. That's the play that beat them because they started to walk the safeties up. They call it a compressed cover 4, where they walk the safeties and the corners down about 9 yards from the ball, and at the snap they rotate right into the box, right?
Yeah.
And that was the reason why DJ Moore was able to get over the top and beat him. So, you know, sometimes the same thing make you laugh, make you cry. Yeah. But I do want to say this, man. Caleb, the growth, the command, the ability to what I call make the right play at the right moment. I thought again, his level of excellence and clutchness in that moment. When the pressure rises, it's almost like his heartbeat slows down. And he was masterful, putting us in the right situations, taking care of the football. That ball he threw to Ja'Day Walker with, I want to say, what was it? 35 seconds or so left over in the game. That ball to the right corner, he made it look a lot easier than what it was. He threw a dime ball to the right corner, and it was a zero blitz. He had Rashawn Gary hanging off of him and or breathing down his neck, and he threw an absolute dime. He threw about a 25-yard dig to DJ Moore before that with another guy bearing down on him and threw an absolute dart. And then the game winner, Ben Johnson, this is where I got to go back. He drew that play up on Thursday. He saw some things in film, and they practiced it. And, you know, we talk about championship habits. Ben said we practiced that in practice, and we hit it big in practice. And he said, I felt great about it, so I added it to the game plan. He said, I had been waiting for that look all night. We were right on the fringe, as you know, because the game was 16-16.
Yeah.
They couldn't give up much more before we went field goal range to beat them. Right, yeah. With a kick, because we had just stopped them on their opportunity because they got the ball first.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, we went 13 personnel, 3 tight ends. He runs a little eye candy with Komet to get, you know, a little motion over to set the protection. And then he had our third tight end wrap block, which is he faked them to the left like we were doing a wide zone left. The fullback wrapped around to the right and created max protection for the play action, and gave us just enough time to hit DJ Moore on a deep ball. And PFF ranked that the hardest, most difficult pass that was thrown all year. I think they averaged it. They graded with the +1, +2, +1.5. That was a +2 throw, which is the best, most difficult throw you can make. And he dropped a seed, man. He dropped it right in the bucket. And walk him down, Williams, Iceman, Caleb Saquon Williams. I want to give you your flowers. I'm not going to talk about anything other than the end of 2020, actually the beginning of 2025 when we beat Green Bay in Green Bay. He's walking through the tunnel of Green Bay, and he said, man, the best is yet to come. He knew it. He's a confident guy. He didn't know what was coming, but he believes in himself. He got the command of the playbook now. I think he's starting to understand and gel with Ben in a way that I think is important, and his teammates love him, man. After the game, they ran up to him and they were talking to him, and you can just see, and you and I both know when you got a dude at quarterback, it changes the complexity of your team, right?
Yeah.
It changes on what you believe you can do and can't do.
Yeah.
There's certain guys, hell, the defense can play lights out football all night, and we still won't win because we don't have a guy behind. We don't have a trigger man. Now it's the opposite. Guys are straining, struggling. Hey, what's the last little bit we could do to give them a shot? Because 6 times, this ain't lucky, 6 times, Raiders, Commanders, Giants, Eagles, Packers walked them down, put us in position to win the game. And when Tom Brady asked him, and he got the LFG award again, and Tom said, hey, what'd you see out there? He was so professional, and just the way he's speaking, he spoke highly of the Packers. He said, one thing that was profound to me, he said, I got the ball. I trust my teammates. I got the best coaches in the world, and they left me too much time, right? So his mentality, when you have a growing legend and you start to create something, and he created it his rookie year, but a guy we're going to talk about here in a little bit, Matt Eberflus, you know him well. Old Matt was finding ways to snatch, defeat from the jaws of victory. Yeah. Whereas now we got a coach who gives him more opportunities to bring the pulleys out. So I'll be quiet now. I did a lot of talking. I'm super excited about where we are with this franchise. I'm super excited. We clinched a playoff berth with the Detroit Lions loss. So touch on that real quick.
Yeah.
Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, our landlord, the Bears landlord, ended up evicting somebody else from the NFC North, man. Kicked them out the housing units.
Well, and the thing is, I mean, ask Aaron Rodgers how he feel about the Bears and the Detroit Lions, and he was like, he'd probably if you could take both of them, ball them up and throw them in the trash can together, it wouldn't bother him one bit. We talked about Detroit. First thing I'll say is very, very apropos on Caleb, his ability to avoid the negative play and to be very decisive is very much. I call it an NCAA route. I mean, I get it, the 13 personnel and stuff. Yeah. But to be honest, the 13 personnel was the equivalent of, like you said, because you were getting a field goal range, it was a situation where you're like, okay, like in baseball, the outfield has to move up, right?
That's a great analogy.
To be able to, because you got a guy on second base and you got to make a play at home, right? So you got to defend that. So you come up. So even though that was a 2 as far as the difficulty, it's a great call because there's only 2 options there, either a touchdown or a drop. I mean, there really wasn't a whole bunch of opportunity for anything else. There wasn't any help he was going to have in the secondary. So if DJ Moore doesn't catch it for whatever reason, it's just you just go on to the next play. Right?
I'm going to add one little caveat. So if you go back and you're not going, most people just watch the flight of the ball. Go back and watch Colston Loveland. The wrinkle that Ben added was normally they run it off of a crosser, a shallow crosser. Yeah. And then the deep post behind it. Yeah. He had Colston Loveland to occupy that front side safety. Yeah. He had him run a short post corner and pull that safety down. So to your point, that's why I got so wide open. Yeah. Because that safety on the front side came down on Colston Loveland.
Yeah. It's a beautiful play design. I couldn't have put it together on Madden any better myself.
I still ain't hitting on Madden. No.
You know what I'm saying? But that's one of the have you break the sticks right there on that one. So I mean, it was well put together. Spinning forward with this division, it was such flux, and you needed 2 things to happen. You needed the Packers to lose at the hands of yourself, which gives you a win, and then Detroit. We talked about the cockroaches that are the Detroit Lions and how they won't go away. And so everybody was kind of looking, Detroit, man, they right there. They can still come up and win the division. And all they got to do is win their games.
Would you believe I got so many calls, and I'm going to say this and I'll turn it right back over to you, around the Bears, falling on our face and dropping the last 4 games. And somehow Detroit, who's had the last 10 games, they've been like win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss.
That's right.
They've shown you who they are, and y'all still don't believe it. And I said, what makes you guys think that we're going to fall on our face, but everybody else going to be perfect down the stretch? Like, it can't even work that way. Mathematically, the scenarios, there's too many tough games to where nobody else gonna stumble. We the only team that's gonna stumble.
Yeah.
And Sunday was a perfect, indicator of that.
Yeah.
The Steelers are a tough team to beat, man. They're tough.
Yeah. Because they know their identity and they play to their identity and they're never gonna get out of it. You know what I'm saying? And then Aaron Rodgers is very comfortable playing in Detroit and knows what that game is about. So he's going to be comfortable in that setting. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is the reason why I don't like Detroit is Detroit, for a team who hasn't won a damn thing in their history, they are bullies.
Right.
Like they are very much a bully type team. They take on their coach's mentality. They come in, they flex on you, they scowl at you. You know what I'm saying? And they try to be bullies.
Right.
You will never ever bully the Pittsburgh Steelers. You might outclass them. You might outshine them. You might out execute them. You might, you know what I'm saying? You might have a better game plan. But if you're gonna come in and think you're gonna play Pittsburgh Steelers and you're gonna be more physical than them and you're gonna punk them, it's not happening. And the thing I saw with that game was I was like, Detroit is not pushing Philly around. I mean, the Pittsburgh around the least bit. So now they're gonna have to play straight up. You know what I'm saying, and beat them. And it wasn't happening. And that's the difference.
And you hit the nail on the head. At the end of the game, man, Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin is flanked by Aaron Rodgers and Craig Hayward. Yeah. And they walking off the field. And it turned into a damn WWE promo. Tomlin look in the camera. You're looking at the best in the business right here next to me, man. So they welcome that tough guy stuff, man.
Yep.
That's
right up. That was right.
That
was right up their alley, man. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want to see no, LA Rams, Puka Nacua. They don't want to see none of that. That's not what they want to see. Get in here and get in a bar fight with us, and I promise you we'll come out on top. And that's what happened.
Detroit walked them into the alley, man. Mike Tomlin turned the damn light out. Let's go. That whole team is ready for exactly that style of football. And you got Dan Campbell somewhere in the scrum with a mouthful of kneecaps and ankles. And did we score yet? He checking on the health of guys.
Look,
and
if Dan Campbell go for it another time and don't get it, man, what an idiot, man. He just continues to run into that wall. Dude, it's like, are you 9 cents short of a dime? What are you doing?
I saw his record. I want to say he's 35 and 16. Man. He's like 35 and 16 with Ben Johnson and something like 11 and 30, 11 and 40 without him. Ben is a culture setter. He's what I call he's an intelligent coach. So I don't want to minimize him in that way. I think his meatheadness comes from thinking that at this level you can just continually brute your way through 60 minutes of football, and the game is so complex now. And you saw the Steelers, they threw a few wrinkles, speed sweeps, they threw it through, they threw some quick screens, some things to eye candy wise to put them on edge and really test. They lost both their safety, so put them in some conflict situations. But at the end of the day, I'm watching that game and I'm like, this is the greatest weekend of damn football for my Bear life. We go pop the Packers. Now I'm watching Minnesota get the Giants got a damn bat beating them across the head.
Even though
I turn to the other game and I see Aaron Rodgers, man, he's smiling and joking and laughing. And I said, oh my God, we might clinch before we even have to deal with the 49ers, them monsters out there west.
Right.
And end up that being the case. So the Bears clinched
at least the 7th spot, right?
Yeah, we clinched. We got the 49ers that clinched right along with us. Changes the dynamic of next week quite a bit depending on tonight's results, right?
Is there any more wild card spots available?
It is. I think it's one.
The Packers and the Lions, right?
Yeah, Packers, Lions, and I want to say another. I think actually, hold on, that's man. It. I can do us one better if I can find it.
I think that's it. It's two teams for one spot.
It was one more that we had in the hunt. The Bucks.
Yeah, but the Bucks can't win. They can't get a wild card.
Oh yeah, you're right. They're divisional. You're right.
Yeah, them in Carolina are they're like they may as well take Carolina and Tampa Bay and put them like in a split screen over there at the NFC South because Tampa Bay is not in the hunt. They're only eligible for the South, and so the only team that's left that's trying to get in there is Detroit and the Packers. And if the Packers lose out and Detroit wins out, I think they can jump them.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. That that Carolina and Bucks game this week, meant a lot. They actually meet in week 18.
Yeah, they meet again. Yeah, look, the Panthers. You talk about a tough draw. How about you got to play the Tampa Bay Bucks, your rivalry. Then, in between playing the Tampa Bay Bucks again, you got to go to Seattle. Good luck, my man.
Right.
Good luck with that one.
And that's the part where, again, we talked about the NFL schedule makers and what an amazing job they did. Woo! That's why I was so shocked at everybody just saying the Bears were the only team that was set up to potential collapse.
This is why Dallas still had a chance, because if they had won all of their games, there was no way everyone was going to win all of their games. Right. It just wasn't going to happen. So if they had won those last 4 games that they had against Minnesota and the Chargers and so forth, and come out of there with only 5 losses at that point, they would have been right there. Because you're looking at the matchup just like, bro, it's impossible to get through this gauntlet without taking a loss or 2.
No, that's a fact, man, and that's a great segue. And we can put a bow on the Bears Packers. I think, like I said, the biggest win in our franchise, and probably I say almost since our NFC Championship game when we advanced to the NFC Championship with Jay Cutler back in the day. Just wonderful moment. Feels a little bit surreal to be even talking about it in this way, but I'm not gonna get into the why not us and the whole cliche. I think we put enough on our resume throughout the season to show that we're deserving of a top seed if we earn it. And that's what Ben said. Hey, we'll talk about, the playoffs once we earn that right. We've earned that right. Now it's time to sharpen the sword. We got 2 more games against the 49ers. And then I almost pulled out the raid, man. I was down in my garage. I was looking for a couple of props, and I saw the raid sitting there, and I thought, you popped in my head, and one of our biggest views is you talking about how these damn lions are like cockroaches, man. And I kid you not, I looked at it and I said, man, if I mess around and spray them jokers today, and then in week 18, don't tempt fate. I left the raid alone
because they may pop in there. And look, I will say this: I don't like the Lions. I don't like the Packers. If the Lions get in, and that means the Packers lose both of their games, and oh, by the way, the Cowboys, who are now looking at the draft, have that pick, and that pick starts to move up the board, we'll take that.
Oh yeah,
we'll take that. We'll take that 2 picks in the top 20. You know what I'm saying? It gives you a lot of movement there to be able to trade down or package a pick together or something like that. So. We close out. Packers still got some work to do to try to get in the door. And
one more shout out. DJ Moore, man. Warrior. I was hard on DJ this year. I think his personality is he has a low energy, kind of low motor personality. Yeah. But he has a high energy, competitive spirit to him too. Yeah. That he showed a lot of guts, and they showed a cutaway of him in our first loss, walking off the field in frustration. A lot of people thought he was open on that last play when Caleb threw the interception. So I gotta talk to DJ and just say, he was the focal point from the wide receiver core this week. Yeah, with the injuries. And he showed up, he showed out, he made tough catches. He got hit on a little dirty hit early in the game to kind of tweak his back, fought through it, and ended up, catching that touchdown. And the stadium erupting, the city erupting. seeing him happy, seeing him, get his flowers, and being able to deal with. He was a huge Justin Fields supporter, and him and Caleb just haven't, connected and meshed and gelled as quickly as we thought they should, considering how productive he's been with lesser quarterbacks. And for him to start to buy into the system, buy into what Ben is preaching, and also being patient with Caleb to allow him to grow. And I can see their synergy and their ability to play with each other, pick up. And Caleb went down and gave him a hug, and he's our Walter Payton Man of the Year too. Great community guy, beautiful family, an amazing person. So I want to give DJ a big shout out too, and playing through what I call just some adversity and naysayers this year who thought he was having a down year. So, all right, Cowboys. I hate to do it. I think this is indicative of Cowboy Nation right now.
It's tough, man.
Yeah,
it's tough, man. We are, bro. We limping down the stretch between the injuries that we have and just lackluster play on our defense and stuff, man. Cowboys drop another game, and it gets tough, man. Once you get eliminated, football is such an intense sport. It's almost like two locomotives pushing against each other out there on the field. And you even when you don't think the other team's putting out a lot of energy, all you got to do is slack off, and you can see the difference. And the Cowboys came in with good intentions, but I think they could have beat some other teams. But you're talking about Los Angeles Chargers teams that needs to win. They're looking to get to the playoffs. They're looking to win their division. And they're a physically tough team, and it was just a tough game. I think the offense was game, and they started out pretty good, but the margin for error is just so small when your defense can't get any stops.
Right.
And I think they started to feel that pressure. And I think one of the things was they had a chance to score, get points, and they went for it.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the play. They handed it off to the fullback. They tried to kind of trick them a little bit. I'd rather have the fullback lead block for the running back, for the tailback. But at the end of the day, that's what happened. And it was a tough loss. It was a tough loss, and I give the Chargers a lot of credit. So. Yeah. Going into that game, the Cowboys were eliminated. They got eliminated the night before when the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Washington Commanders. Raise your hand if you had the Commanders going to the NFC Championship again on your bingo card. That one didn't go well. I mean, how much money could I have made if I had picked the Commanders to not win more than 6 games and the Kansas City Chiefs to not make the playoffs? Man, you could have made a killing.
In your defense, man, and this is where we got to shift it up next year, because you called it. We actually spoke about that. Remember this offseason, we looked at their season, and kind of said, hey, it's going to be hard to replicate what they did. And everybody kind of pinned them in as in the future NFC East champions. Yeah, that was the we just need a little bit more courage, man, because we call a lot of this stuff, and you called it. They actually finished, I think, right where you thought they would. Eagles did too. You called a lot of that as well, with them not being as explosive on both sides of the ball, and a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover, right? It's natural. It's hard for you to drum that type of energy up and sustain it over, the course of 30-ish games or so in the last year. And then when you look at the Giants, you were all over that one as far as them, losing Saquon and how that was a huge hit, them losing Danny Dimes. I'm not faulting you at all for not taking $1,000 and dropping it, because I think sometimes we're so aggressive in our foresight that it sounds, even us speaking, we talk to each other about it because we understand each other. When we go talk to other people, I think it goes over their head and they don't quite digest it the way they do. And I don't mean it in a negative way, because when we were talking about the Commanders, I wish I had a recording, because we absolutely nailed it. We said the exact thing, the undoing of the Commanders would be the physicalness and Jaden Daniels having to withstand, that type of physical football for a year. Also, people getting a year to see it on film and adjust.
That's right.
We talk about, and you talk about the NFL being
the health of the
team,
the age of
NFL
being
a living, breathing organism. Right. And they came in thinking they could do the exact same thing with a few on paper, players that they added in free agency. And they basically went out and tried to buy their way into the Super Bowl, and it just doesn't work that way. They were actually a better team last year with some lesser parts because they understood their roles. Debo ain't blocking like crazy. McLaurin didn't get a deal, so he didn't even practice.
And he had a soft tissue injury. Raise your hand if you ever seen that before. Like, come on, man.
And then you throw in a defense that was aging and old.
They're one of the oldest teams in football.
One of the oldest teams in football. So, again, I feel like the Cowboys and us saying that we expected them to show and play, some really high level football. You had the number one offense. I think what did you in, and we talk about it, it was just in certain moments you guys didn't, play your best football. And we can start with week 1, where I felt like, 4 drops by CeeDee Lamb is who had that on their bingo card, right?
Yeah.
If you win that first game out the gate, if you beat the Packers, that's just 2 games off the top of my head that changes your narrative. Carolina game. Yeah. So the margins are so thin. So I don't want you to beat yourself up too much because that could be us, right? We got 6 come from behind victories,
right?
And we lose 3 of those, and where are we? We going home just like you guys.
Fighting like hell to get in. You're not out, but you're still fighting like hell to get in. That's the difference in the league, man.
Right.
It really is. And so, this game, the injuries just. Quentin Williams was out with a concussion. Actually, Demarion Overshawn got put out in the first half with a concussion.
Right.
You
got Diggs back, right? Diggs came back and he didn't play well at all.
Diggs came back, but he was out of sorts. With that. I mean, he had some good plays. I think he was physical. He came up and tackled well, but it was very difficult to keep. And the reality is this: the front and the back worked together. There was no pass rush. There was no effort to put any pressure on Justin Herbert, and therefore he's so big and he's so nimble that basically all he had to do was move around and slide around in the pocket, and people were free. Somebody was always free, and therefore, this is. And I'll give a little bit of credit to Flus in this way. Mm-hmm. This is why he wants to run a defense that's very similar to what the Chargers run. The Chargers run a defense that's very zone heavy, 83% zone heavy. They cloud you, they bracket you, they physical, they come up and tackle, and they make you drive the length of the field, and they bet that you're going to either jump off sides, that you're going to have a holding call, that you're going to get a negative play, a run getting stuffed, and you're going to fall behind, and you're not going to be able to complete the drive with anything other than maybe a long field goal.
Yeah.
And so that's what Flus would like to do, but he didn't call the right plays to do so, and he doesn't have the personnel to execute it. The team is too young. And so therefore, I feel bad for him in that way, because I'm not mad at his mindset and his philosophy. I honestly do not think you can make a living in today's NFL running complete man-to-man, trying to shut teams down. It just doesn't work. No. It's too tough. The guys with these crossing patterns and these whizzes like Shanahan and Ben Johnson, you know what I mean? Like, they will cut you up trying to chase these dudes around, in the zone, and you have to be able to bracket and zone. Yeah. We just were not able to do it in this setting. And so this game, to me, it was down to the defense not being able to get off the field. They got to third down often. Yeah. Could not get off the field.
Hey, and I hear you. And I'm going to talk about what I think the game was lost before it even started. And I'm not saying it to be cold I'm just being honest. The soft fire, well, one, being eliminated, and football is a game you got to play on edge and you got to have a little something to play for.
Right.
And once that goes away,
I
think that takes away from your edge.
That's why I said the two locomotives. That's what I was talking about. Because as soon as you take a little bit off of one, it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what it takes. That's what it takes to be competitive in every game.
It really does. And it's not, you put yourself in the situation. However, the reality, and I've been there, a few times, when you get eliminated or you lose a game in football, you had that moment where you start thinking about the woulda, shoulda, couldas. Did I, if I'd have made this play, if I'd have practiced a little harder, if I'd have, you're trying to go through all those different scenarios, and then you run into a damn team that's, like you said, on the opposite end, which is I'm fighting to get in, I still got a shot. And, that imbalance, even if it's small, it shows heavily in the NFL. I think the other piece was the soft firing of Flus, right? I hadn't heard of Coach White Cotton. I'm not sure. And we talked about this quite a bit, throughout the last few weeks, which is, I think this is the first misstep from Shotty. Actually, I take that back. I think this came from above Shotty's head. If Shotty would have had his way, I think he would have kind of left things status quo until the end of the year and then took care of business then. But for whatever reason, the soft firing of Flus and sending him up to the booth and then promoting, or I don't even know if it was a promotion. It was more of an accountability of sideline personnel goes to Coach White Cotton. Yeah. You're undermining your defensive coordinator in my eyes, and I don't love it. I'd rather you just go ahead and get, fire them and cut the cord in that way. So that left a little bit of, that takes an edge off of defense or offense or any unit when your coordinator or your leader, you can tell that they've been neutered and kind of put down in that way. So the Chargers are a tough physical unit. And the reality is, even if you guys were clicking on all cylinders, they still would have been tough to beat. They're getting healthier, and this is the thing we talk about in the season. We face the Steelers, no damn Aaron Rodgers, right? Detroit faces them, they got Aaron Rodgers. We go and play the Ravens, no, Lamar Jackson. The Packers play us in the second game, no Luther Burden, no Roma Doomsday. No Micah. Every game, people and fans, I think oftentimes think it's just the same teams playing each other. And from week to week, it's really not. And you guys actually got the tougher version. If you guys would have played the Chargers a little earlier in the schedule, I think you roll them. Right. I do. Because they were down multiple linemen. The running backs were hurt. And they had some defensive, holes as well with injuries. But, yeah, go ahead.
No, you're so correct on the subtlety of when you play a team. Last week, McCarthy was at his best. He was playing great for Minnesota, and he gave us a tough game and really, caused Flus to end up in the coach's box instead of down on the. He's the one that got him sit there, right? Yeah. The Vikings play the Giants, and he gets injured again. And all of a sudden they can't manufacture but 16 points. Dallas had 32 points. If they just make the field goal, they would have doubled Minnesota's points and boat raced them if that happened the week before.
Correct.
And that's the difference right there. You know what I'm saying? 1 week McCarthy's healthy and doing it and out there playing, like he's freaking Joe Montana, and the next week, you know what I'm saying? He's looking like Joe Piscopo out there. I mean, it's just a difference.
No, it's a fact, man. And again, we talked about having to play when you put yourself behind the 8 ball and you got a 6-game string of where you got to not only play high-level football on your end, and then you have to, try to catch a break from every other team not being on their A game. Yeah. And, I think it was just a hole that was a little bit too deep for you guys to dig yourself out of. And you throw in the fact, we see it all the time with our Lakers, right? Trying to put together and have a title run where you're still adding pieces mid-year. Isn't great. It's hard to do. If you were more what I call team a little bit closer to maybe a Super Bowl, and you already had the pieces in place, and you kind of just these were finishing touches.
Yeah.
But Quinn Williams is an important component.
Yeah.
Wilson is an important component.
Yeah.
They're learning the system on the fly.
Yeah.
They're also, you're enduring injuries, and I think defensively, you guys just never were able to really get a chance to implement the defense, learn it, execute it, go through the ups and downs of any other what I call growing new unit.
Yeah.
You guys had you basically took your final mid-year, right? And I'm not saying you failed it, but I think if you had more time and these acquisitions happened earlier, you guys would have got a better result.
I feel bad I feel bad for Flus because I feel like we're probably going to end up letting him go, and I don't even know if he came back if the defense would be bad next year. I can't even say that because the personnel is going to be different. They're going to know the scheme a lot better. He's going to know the personnel. I mean, Flus came in thinking I got Micah Parsons, and I'm going to be able to get off to the quarterback, and I can play this zone underneath behind it. And have people, have their eyes on the ball and rally and tackle. And I'm going to get Overshown back, and we're going to be rolling up in here. We're going to have Diggs healthy the whole year and Bland healthy the whole year. Now he's got to have a foot thing. He's got to have a cleanup on his foot. So he's probably shut down for the season.
I saw that. Yeah, he had a second surgery, right? Planned.
Yeah, he's going to have another cleanup. He's having some complications there, but it's early, so he'll be back and for training camp and stuff. But the point is like, this was not what Flus signed up for. But at the same time, I feel like if this were a Jim Schwartz or a Dennis Allen or Flores, that they would have found a way to take, these parts and this right here and turn it into a freaking stir fry, instead of sitting there and saying we ain't got nothing to eat tonight, right? And so I think that's the difference, and I don't know what to say if he's just too resolute or egotistical about his scheme, but it's just difficult. And in this game, it was tough because we just could not get Herbert off the field. The offense, you saw Pickens come back and do his thing. He was back into his rare form. CD's been doing. You got 2,000-yard receivers.
Yeah, CD went over 1,000.
Yeah, with 2 games left, and CD didn't miss 4 games. I am telling you, you could easily have had 2 1,500-yard receivers and a 1,300-yard running back, on a team, and a tight end with like 8 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And still not even be close to the playoffs. That's nuts. That's absolute nuts right there.
It is, but it's also, we're gonna talk about it as, hey, look, man, I gotta be candid with you. I got a bunch of text messages, Houston. I'm gonna call them Houston Lewis, some of our followers, man, some of our subscribers taking shots saying we should turn it to the Houston Texans, should be who you should be speaking about now.
What?
And Houston Texans. And he said, hey man, if the Texans come out and put 40 on the Raiders, I want a shout out. They didn't put 40 on the damn Raiders at all. But
they almost lost to the Raiders.
They almost lost to the Raiders, but I will say this, man. And this is what we're g're do because we're authentic.
Dallas boat raced the Raiders.
Hey, we're objective and we're authentic in what we say, and the lines are so thin that you and I both know you got to stay humble. This league humbles us all, everyone, and the core of what you have, to your point on offense, is set. If you can get Williams to agree to a decent deal and get him back, and you get Pickens locked in, you're sitting on 2 first-round picks. Yeah. I would say kind of mid the first round, and then probably bottom early late rounds, 20-ish or so, right? With the Packers pick that you guys have as well. So if they lose out, that helps you, and you can get it turned around very quickly. You also got, and this is, one man's, and Flus is caught up in a situation where some good defensive coordinators, you got 2 prodigal sons that might come back home. How do you like Al Harris as a defensive coordinator?
I don't know if Al Harris is ready or not to be a defense. I don't know what he's been doing to prepare himself to be promoted to defensive coordinator. I don't know. I can't say. I love his leadership. I love the way he coaches his team. I love the way he prepares his position. I cannot tell you if he's ready to be a defensive coordinator or not, because I just don't know what he's been doing. And I mean, does that make sense?
No, that's fair, but that's why I come prepared. And I got another prodigal son for you. How you like the name Aaron Glenn?
Well, Glenn's the head coach at the Jets, so he's not leaving.
Not too much longer. From what I'm hearing, he's on the hot seat, and they might want to press the reset button. Dysfunctional franchises do dysfunctional things. They hire coaches and fire them in here.
The Jets are going to fire Aaron Glenn?
That's the smoke that's coming out of New York.
He hasn't even had a chance.
They say they want to start him.
They're playing hard for him.
You know how it is for black head coaches, his leash, and that's why when you get guys,
they got like 16,000 draft picks.
I hear you, but you know that's how it goes. So somebody has to be the fall guy. If that is the case, I think I
would take Aaron Glenn in a heartbeat.
Exactly. I think that the Dallas Cowboys, I don't think they immediately fire Flus. I think they see who becomes available, right? And if there's an upgrade there, then you take it, right? And I wouldn't be mad. I think Flus is it's tough for me right now because sometimes when you fail as a head coach, you need a place to a soft landing, to start over. And Dallas ain't no damn soft landing. The defensive coordinator of Dallas Cowboys is just as high profile as a head coaching job, i.e. the Chicago Bears, right? You're still under the bright light.
Yeah, you're in the big bright lights.
Right? So I said all that to say, I think you're going to have some opportunities to, find a decent replacement to, potentially if you guys go another direction, defensive coordinator. It almost feels like you have to because the way you kind of handle things here towards the end of the season. But from my perspective, the foundation offensively looks amazing, right? Yeah. The question is, how committed I saw a little bit of Jerry Jones. I'll say this and I'll shut up and let you get to it and kind of bring us home. But I saw Jerry Jones have his kind of, it wasn't even an exit interview. It was just kind of a recap of the situation of being knocked out of the playoffs. And he seemed very resolute about, I would call it tweaking versus rebuilding. And that was what I took from it. What do you feel about what you think the plans might be there with him?
Well, the Cowboys are the third youngest team in the NFL. Okay. They're not, and people look at some of their star players like Dak and CD, and they're like, oh, this team's the old team. Now, actually, Dak's the only real, the player who's sustained and been there. CD, even for his age, I think is 27, right? You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah, I think we all forget how young these guys are. You know what I'm saying? When we heard about Marshawn Neal and Don, he was 24 years old, man. It's like, dude. And so they're so young. And so the team is a young team. And so they have to grow and develop in that aspect too. And so, there is a lot to do when it comes to that. I think the salary cap is good. They'll have some guys renegotiate. I don't think Trevon Diggs is necessarily going to be gone. I think if he renegotiates his contract, they need to have some leadership and need to have some experience. They have so many young guys in corner and the secondary. I think they might get some new faces at the safety. Okay. Yeah. But I don't know if they're gonna necessarily change all of their cornerback positions. So. Linebacker, yes. Defensive end, they need to add another guy, but Ezra Rock was going to get better. But they may also add a free agency. Now Trey Hendrickson might come now in the offseason, something like that. But I mean, you're talking about a couple of tweaks, man. The pass rush gets a little bit better. The linebacker, if Overshown can just make it through the offseason and actually have a real offseason, we talk about how do teams get better. Do you come back from injury or do you actually have a full season to get better? This would be one of the first years where Overshown, if he can make it through the season, can just get
trained. Get better.
To get better and not have to rehab because that's not the same thing at all, right?
Right.
And so there's a lot of pieces there with the Cowboys, and we'll talk about. We got the whole offseason to get to them, and so forth with the players. I'm not down on them at all. We really tried to turn the corner and do it, but you just didn't have all of the horses in play, and then the injuries put you in a position where, your Quentin Williams goes down, and Overshown goes down, and all of a sudden, what are you going to do on defense? How are you going to create pass rush and pressure when the two of your stars go down like that?
Yeah, and it wasn't, and this is where scheduling comes into play, right? Had you had the AFC North where you're catching the Cleveland Browns or you're catching the Bengals or you guys dealing with some Minnesotas, the Chargers, the damn Bears, the Eagles twice. The reality is, the schedule makers didn't do you guys any favors.
The Chargers,
Green Bay,
the Denver Broncos.
I want to say I haven't done the legwork, but if we look at the playoff teams, you guys probably drew, I want to say 6 or 7 of them, right? From both conferences. So not an excuse. I think it's just the reality. If I was the GM, and if I was on and we got the H+M Sports Academy consulting firm as well, we'll sit down and, we're going to build the hell out of you. We're going to invoice the shit out of you every week. So Jerry, we'll sit down with Jerry. If we would get in front of him, I think we say, let's keep this offense together. Let's build. You got 2 high draft picks, and we got some money to get us a what I call a closer, pass rusher, Hendricks. I have my eye on him, and I would look at going and adding some pieces to this defense and a few tweaks to maybe offense. If you get a home run hitter on offense, running back. If Jeremiah Love falls to you, I wouldn't be mad if you took him with your first pick, and then go defense, which is second pick. That changes your offense to where it puts you, I would say, in a guaranteed top 5 category with a guy who could, change the game with 1 carry, right? It puts you in that Saquon and Philadelphia Eagles to how they were last year, where now you don't need a 13-play drive. You just need 1, right? And with the Pickens and CeeDee Lamb around them, the sum of those pieces makes your offense so dangerous. So that would be my ideology on it. I would keep the offense together, add a little tweak here, a little more pop at running back. You never could go wrong with beefing up the offensive line, defensive lines. And like you said, the need portion, I think, is your secondary, and an off season of health, an off season of training, and another youth infusion. I saw Caleb Downs pop up. Jeremiah Love, Caleb Downs changes this Dallas Cowboys team immensely. Normally people don't take safeties early. Normally people don't take running backs early. But at H+M Sports Academy, we take good players early, right?
That's right.
And sometimes
especially if they're rated the number 1 player at their position.
Thank you.
At the top of their position. And those are also 2 names that are plug and play. Those aren't guys that you think, oh yeah, they're gonna need 3 years to develop. They're long shots, or they're developmental players and stuff like that. Like Tyler Guyton is a developmental tackle, and then next year he's gonna be in his 3rd year. He's gonna look really good because he was a developmental guy. He played basketball in high school. He didn't, you know what I'm saying?
I know.
But Caleb Downs, you plug him into your defense instantly.
Instant contributor, and for the next, God knock on, Lord willing, he doesn't get hurt. You got a 7-year, 6-year starter. Fringe all-pro guy. 2-3 year perennial Pro Bowler there. And with Jeremiah Love, with that offensive line and that offense and those weapons around him, I see him being an instant 1,000-yard back if he stays healthy. And that offense, just because you got to pick your poison. So, and it's going to be cheap, right? Cheap in the sense that safety and running back are positions that you don't have to, kill when it's time to repay them. I think you could get some fair market for them and still keep your cap in place. So, good talk on the Cowboys. I got to run. I got to go grab Junior. But at the end of the day, man, I know I still got faith in the Cowboys. Houston Lewis, Louis, Screwy. We're not talking about the Texans. CJ Stroud had to stop dribbling the damn basketball to get Davis Mills to give his job back. So we don't want to hear Houston Texans ain't won nothing. Are they a dangerous team?
They are.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And this is a team that is, for the first time, they're the hunter as opposed to being the huntee, because the AFC right now is not going to have Mahomes. Looks like Knicks is going to be the lead dog, and then we might not see Lamar Jackson.
Nope.
So, let's see how CJ handles some pressure. Let's see how they handle that before you go telling us who we gotta talk about on our show. How about the Houston Texans actually go finish the damn deal? You guys been lucky and hiding in the AFC South, and Houston Lewis, Screwy Louie. Newsflash: Jacksonville is right there. And
look, I'm telling you right now. I bet you a million. In my head, I was getting ready to say, Duval. You better watch him.
Hey, that window, Lou, I told you. Lewis,
the princess is flexing.
Hey, man, I don't know, the offensive coordinator position for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the last 3 years have been kingmaker positions. David Canales, Liam Cohen, all got head coaching jobs. And man, what a job they've done over there. So before Houston, before you shine up that buckle and before you tip that 20-pound bucket head of yours, Lewis, we still talking Cowboys. We still talking Bears.
That's right.
We ain't shifting nothing, and we still talking Brian. So, all right, man, great show. Let me run. Yep. And I'll see you tonight, man, because you're watching the game with me.
We watching the game. We're doing a little show there. So we're gonna watch a little football tonight. So if y'all don't know, I'm on the East Coast. You can see my lighting's a little different. So shout out to all my East Coast peeps.
We got some. I need my guy. Man, that's how we do. Houston Lewis. He flew all the way from San Diego and from Cali to make sure the Bears got us good scouting reports. So we at H+M Sports Academy and consulting firm, we never stop working. The lights always churning and burning, no matter what happens, man. We support each other. So, all right, man, I gotta go.
This is H+M Sports Academy. Y'all have a good night.
Yeah.